like to call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum. Our first item of business is to approve the minutes for the September 24th, 2015 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve?
Mary Jane Skinner makes a motion to approve the minutes.
I have a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Minutes passed. Our first item of business, motion to nominate and elect a chairman for a one-year term.
I'd like to nominate our existing chairman, Mr. Earl Garvin, to carry on.
I second that motion.
I have a nomination for myself, a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Our next item of business is a motion to nominate and elect a vice chairman for a one-year term. Do we have any nominations? I would like to nominate Miss Mary Jane Skinner. She would like to do it. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Skinner is our vice chair. Our first item of new business, review of annual report for 2015-2016 permit year.
I'm just going to go briefly over a few notes. You all have a copy of the permit that was submitted to the state. This is an annual permit. If you in the past, it looks exactly the same. It's kind of a cut and paste. We just add our updates. So we've already gotten to that. This is our 6th year that we were under the current permit. Just by coincidence, Friday afternoon about 4 o'clock, I got the new permit that we're going to be entering. So I will be, in the next week or two, I'm going to be putting together the notice of intent, getting that to the state, and getting us covered under the new permit. We're still completely covered under the old until that has happened, so that's no problem. So we'll be working on that. There may or may not be some very minor changes that have to take place to our stormwater manual. And if that is the case, then of course you'll all be informed at a later date. Our permit requires that we meet 6 minimum measures. Public education and outreach. We have public participation and involvement. We have an illicit discharge detection and elimination system, construction site runoff control program, post-construction and permanent stormwater runoff, pollution prevention, and good housekeeping. So for the next few minutes, I'm just going to kind of quickly go through what that means. For public education and outreach, last year, if you'll recall, we had just joined a partnership with Smyrna, Murfreesboro, and Rutherford County to obtain a dedicated part-time employee. Her name is Miss Bonnie Irvin. She was formerly with the Discovery Center and ran our Project WET programs through the Discovery Center, but now she works in the office with KDP, the Rutherford County MS4 coordinator, and her salary is paid by a combination of all 4 partners based on population. It's prorated based on population. So she helps us meet those public education requirements. That's her specialty. Some of the things that we've done this year, we went to the Laverne Day Camp. Parks and Rec has a day camp that they run every summer, and so they had a water day and allowed us to come do some activities and games with the children, teach them about water quality and pollution. And we had a really good time with them, and then Parks and Rec actually had an inflatable slide, water slide, and they got to do some really fun things as part of Water Day. I think everybody enjoyed that a lot. Old Timers Day, these photos are actually from last year. I didn't really get any this year because it came a monsoon during Old Timers Day. But traditionally, we do go out every year. We have a booth, we have giveaways, we have information that we share with the community as they come by our booth about pollution prevention, about groundwater, stormwater quality, why it's important to have only rain down the drain. We teach the public, don't put your grass clippings in the inlets, don't change your oil over the inlets, just some common sense things that we try to just get through to the public so that they're aware of the impact that they can make on water quality. We usually have some activities for the kids. Last year it went really, really well. This year it would have gone even better, I believe, because we had some new displays, but nature chose a different path for us. So to sort of make up for some of the lost face time that we got with the public, I will be out, as always, at Trail of Treats handing out candy, but I ordered some very informational little coloring books for the children that talks about pollution and water quality and sort of in terms that they can understand, and has some games and activities in the booklets. So I think that will help us, to reach that audience that we typically would have reached with our displays and things. So I'm looking forward to that in just a couple of weeks. Thank you so much. Public involvement. We do an annual stream cleanup. It was April 9th this past permit year. We had about 50 volunteers, most of which I'm proud again to say for the second year in a row were my Girl Scouts. I'm very involved with Girl Scouts here in Laverne and Smyrna, and my girls really showed up and came, and we collected quite a substantial amount of trash from the walking trails near the boat ramp, Hurricane Creek boat ramp, down near the Lake Forest subdivision down Stones River Road. And then afterwards we have a cookout. We just had hot dogs, a hot dog lunch. Box 100 came out and helped with that. And we just again have some informational things out there to just kind of let them know why we're doing what we're doing and about water quality and why it's important. So that went really well this year, and I haven't set the date for this next year, but it will also be April or May. Post-construction stormwater management. Basically what that means is once a developer is done with a project and he steps away from that and we accept, say, a phase of a subdivision, for example, we obtain the responsibilities for the storm drainage system through there. So over time things can happen. Ditches can fill in, culverts can fill in, things can get blocked or clogged. So I have a crew. I have a street sweeper and then a crew of 4 laborers that take care of those kinds of requests. The street sweeper runs a route almost daily, weather permitting, to keep the garbage out of the system so that we can prevent any problems. And then for those that have already, happened over time or issues that they have developed, we have a crew. And this is the system called PubWorks. It's a software we use, where we input, I can take a call from someone, or if my foreman ends up getting a call, he puts it in the system with the name, phone number, address of whoever has the issue and a description of the issue. And then it kind of times us, lets us know how long it's been in there, if we're getting past a certain point, it's been in the system a while. And so we get all those plugged away. Ditching usually is in the summer months because it's dry and the ground's not frozen. So sometimes those do stay on the list a little longer if we're getting them, in fall when that rain has just hit and we have to wait all the way until the spring. But all the smaller problems, or if it's pipe related or something roadside and we don't have to try to put heavy equipment through the yards of people, then it's not so weather dependent and we're able to get those knocked out. We had about 77 jobs that were added to the list and taken off of the list. We had 77 jobs that closed in the permit year, which the permit year was July 1st of 15 to June 30th of this year of 16. So we had 77 jobs that the guys knocked out in that time. Illicit discharge. We got a new website recently, and there's a place where you can go on the website and it sends me an email. You fill out your concern. It can be a drainage complaint or it can be to report an illicit discharge. You see a neighbor pouring things down the storm drain he ought not be pouring down. You fill out this form. You can do it anonymously or you can leave your name and information, however you choose to do it. And it sends me an email and then I can address the concern. Also, my email and phone number are on the website. They're readily available if someone wants to call, and I do fairly regularly get phone calls, from people if they see something happening that they're not quite sure about. So that's how we have our illicit discharges reported to us. I keep track of all of that and make sure they're addressed. Construction runoff. Scott Warwick is our full-time construction erosion control inspector. So he goes out anytime we have residential or commercial building. He goes out approximately once a week to each site and he makes sure that they're complying with their erosion and sediment control procedures. We require a SWIP, a Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan, to be submitted to us at the beginning of all projects, and he makes sure that they are abiding by that permit, that they're keeping their dirt on their property, not allowing it to wash onto neighbors or into the streets or into ditches. Pollution prevention and good housekeeping. We do a training for city employees to let them know, for example, we have public works where we may keep chemicals. We have, any place where we might store gasoline or other petroleum products. Of course, we want to make sure we're maintaining our vehicles so that they don't leak said products. So we have employee training, which I will schedule this year for the fall once that rainy weather has hit and that peak time where both Public Works and Stormwater are out busy working, and we have, it's not quite so rushed. That's when we'll do our training for the year. The street sweeper, again, he runs year-round, weather permitting, picking up litter and trash with the machine. The street department has litter and trash removal that they oversee. Sorry, I was losing my words for a second. And then I get a report from them every month. And so I put that together with our street sweeper routes, and that's what we're doing to keep any garbage from getting to the drain to begin with, to cause any problems. Our new stormwater business, something we did new this year that I thought was great, and I hope that we can continue to do it. The Tennessee Environmental Council does a program every year called 50K Tree Day. So they have a day, and their goal is for 50,000 trees to be planted in the state of Tennessee on this day. Laverne participated. We gave a sponsorship and received 500 trees, a combination of dogwoods, redbuds, oaks, poplars, and Virginia pines. I made a flyer. I took it to different places within the city. There was one posted here at City Hall, at the Senior Center, and around. These trees were free. Anyone could come and get whatever trees they liked to plant them here in the city. The reason behind that is because the more trees you have, the better water quality you have. Not only will it stabilize banks and stabilize, creek beds or even the banks of ditches, the roots kind of help the ground to hold on, not wash away. They also are great filters. They pull a lot of pollution out of that groundwater. So we want trees, we want greenery, we want foliage. The more, the better. So I was really pleased with that, and we will do that again. It happens in late February. And that's really all that I have. That's sort of in a nutshell, in a very broad nutshell, what the Stormwater Department has been up to for the last year, what we've submitted to the state. I have received notice that they received it. I have not received the notice back yet, the yay or the nay, yes, we approve it, or here are some things we want to see you do differently. Last year I never did hear, so I'm assuming if you hear nothing, that means you're doing it right. So far I believe we're doing it right, and some things I'd like to see do this year. Again, I want to do 50K Tree Day again. I would love for us to incorporate a boat day at some point where we are not just doing streamside cleanups, but we could actually be getting in the water, seeing the effects, once this garbage and stuff gets into the water, let people, when they're collecting trash on the waters where they like to ski and swim and fish, it's really quite eye-opening. Other communities around us do that. So I have a lot of vision things that I'd like to see the department do. But the report that I submitted this year, I'm just, letting you know what we've done so far, and hopefully next year I'll have even more things to add to what we've accomplished. And that's really all I have. If anybody has any questions, I'm happy to answer them.
I have one question that I'm very concerned about. I have acquired a couple of acres of land, and it's a wooded area, and there's the creek runs through there that runs through my present property. Is it all right to go ahead and clean that creek out where the trees have fallen in and keep water from backing up?
What the state says is if it's a blue line stream, meaning it's a registered water of the state, and I would look up your address and confirm that for you.
Okay, I'll get with you.
Okay, we do have buffer requirements, meaning no equipment within 60 feet of the creek, but absolutely if you have trees that are dying or you see dead limbs, and you can use hand equipment, and by hand equipment I'm including like a chainsaw, but nothing that you would actually drive into the creek,
Right.
then yes ma'am, you have every right to make sure, because you don't want it filling up with dead tree limbs and things, because you're
Right.
right, it will block up. So yes ma'am, the state allows you, as long as it can be done with hand equipment, to get in there and do whatever maintenance. They do request that if you cut down trees that you leave the roots, because those roots, again, that stabilizes the bank and helps, it gives the dirt really something to hold on to and stops it from washing out. So as long as you're fine to leave your stumps, they don't have a problem with you
Okay.
taking down some, dead trees or dying trees.
Right. Okay.
Very good. Any other questions or comments? Thank you for covering the discussion portion, number 4. And I'd like to call a conclusion to the October 3rd, 2016 Stormwater Appeals and Advisory Board. This meeting is adjourned.